The year was 2045, and Earth had transformed into a tapestry of cultures, technologies, and alien species. In this new era, interstellar travel was a common lifeline, weaving connections between worlds and species alike. Yet, amid this dazzling display of diversity, darkness lurked in the shadows. Eli Carter, a mediator by trade, prided himself on his ability to de-escalate conflict. He stood in the dimly lit backroom of the nebula, a bar frequented by both humans and beings from distant planets. The air was thick with smoke and laughter, but Eli's gaze was fixed on a commotion brewing outside the establishment. Suddenly, the door burst open, and in staggered a group of scientists, wild-eyed and frantic. "Help! They've taken an alien girl!" One of them shouted, breathless and covered in grime. A chill raced down Eli's spine. He exchanged a glance with another bartender, a towering blue-skinned Zelfian named Kieran, who nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. Eli pushed through the crowd outside into the chaos of a surrounding alley. Era, the alien girl they spoke of, lay restrained on a metallic slab, surrounded by a small team of rogue scientists. Her features were ethereal. Blue skin glimmered in the fluorescent lights, and her large, flowing violet eyes looked around in panic. Eli's heart raced. "Wait! Don't do it!" Eli shouted, elevating his voice above the clamor. The lead scientist, a balding man with sharp glasses, turned with a scowl. "And why not?" he sneered. "This creature has unique biological traits. We could advance our understanding of alien physiology." "Understanding?" Eli growled. "You mean exploiting? She's a living being, not a specimen. You can't just cut her open." Era's gaze met Eli's, and for a fleeting moment, he felt a tingle of connection, almost as if a current of unspoken words zeroed in on him. In that instant, he recognized the bond that was forming, a complexity far beyond their language. The scientists shifted nervously, torn between their greed and the sudden confrontation. Eli stepped closer, arms raised in a gesture of peace. "Let's talk about this. You want knowledge. I can help you obtain it without harm. Together." As Eli negotiated, he learned of Era's extraordinary background, a Zelfian of high standing, known for her innate abilities that transcended human comprehension. He realized that first-hand knowledge of her species' customs would only enhance their research without shedding blood, but his call for peace fell on deaf ears. The lead scientist, fueled by ambition, barked orders to prepare the surgical tools. Seeing a flash of desperation in Era's eyes snapped Eli into action. "If you cut her open, you'll lose your chance for genuine understanding. Let her speak." Moments later, shockwaves reverberated as the crowd grew, drawn to the spectacle. Eli's heart raced. He needed to ensure Era's safety. "Who will stand with me?" he yelled, desperately scanning the faces of bystanders. Could anyone see reason? Kieran stepped forward, fists clenched. "I'm with you, human." The collective murmur of fear began to turn into defiance as more diverse faces began to stand with Eli and Kieran. Sensing uprising, the lead scientist faltered. "Let her speak." Eli called, voice firm and rallying. Era's gaze brightened. She struggled against her restraints, forcing out words. "Do not see me as a thing, but as a bridge between worlds. I can be more, to share and understand." Eli's breath caught. The ambivalence of warring desires tangled together in that moment. The scientists wanted to segregate and conquer, while Era's plea echoed the desire for unity. Eli stepped forward. "You all heard her. Let's hear what she has to say." The tension crackled in the air as curiosity began to blossom amidst the crowd. The fight for Era's freedom had begun, not just for her life, but for the potential alliance that could transform their worlds forever. The alley buzzed with anticipation as Eli stood firm, every pulse in his body urging him to protect Era. The scientists exchanged uneasy glances, their determination waning under the mounting pressure of the crowd. "Let her go," Eli called, his voice cutting through the rising tension like a blade. "She deserves her voice, her life." With a determined shake, Eli stepped closer to Era, ensuring he stood between her and the looming surgical table. The defiance of the scientists danced with desperation as curiosity filled the onlookers, breathing life into their shared fear. He could feel their collective heartbeat, a rhythm pulsing for hope. Finally, the lead scientist, Dr. Matthias, flinched. "Fine," he barked, reluctantly lowering the surgical apparatus. "Let her speak, but you'd better be quick about it." Eli turned to Era, his heart racing. "You're safe now. Talk to them. Share your truth." Era took a deep breath, her violet eyes shimmering with unspoken power. "My name is Era, and my people, the Zelthians, are connected to the universe in ways you cannot fathom." Her voice, though soft, carried the weight of her heritage. "When we mate, we share our consciousness. It's far beyond physical contact. It's a merging of souls. Through intimacy, we can bond and build bridges between worlds. I can help you understand that." Eli sensed a shift in the atmosphere. Those who had encircled the scene leaned in, captivated by her words. The scientists stood still, their aspirations realigning as they digested her explanation. For every moment the crowd listened, Era fought to reclaim her life. "What kind of bonding?" one of the scientists pressed, eyes gleaming with an inkling of curiosity. "You mean to say?" "Not just physical," Era interjected, a flicker of fervor igniting in her gaze. "To share in experiences, beliefs, feelings. Imagine what could unfold. A partnership infused with knowledge. We need to learn from each other, not through dissection, but through understanding." Eli sensed the transformation around him. An electrifying connection crackled between Era's words and the crowd's curiosity. He knew they needed this vision, the convergence of worlds. "Perhaps we could establish a formal exchange," Eli suggested, voice rising. "Imagine what could be gained by mutual respect instead of violence. A partnership can flourish through shared experiences." Dr. Matthias shifted uncomfortably, his professional demeanor quivering. He'd come seeking trophies, not symbiosis. And how do we know this isn't just a ploy to escape? Eli's confidence steadied him as he met the scientist's gaze. "Because you can choose. Choose to be researchers and allies, rather than hunters. This is a choice that can alter our futures." Another scientist stepped forward, a woman with sharp features and cheeks flushed in anxiety. What if she's right? What if there's something greater to be learned without sacrifice? Her voice was barely louder than a whisper, yet it rippled through the crowd, igniting a glimmer of hope in their faces. "You want knowledge," Era said, her tone steady. "My culture believes that only through respect and shared experiences will you truly understand us. Let me show you." Eli could feel the wheels of negotiation turning. The scientists began to murmur among themselves. Reckless ambition ignited their thoughts, but Era's eloquence pulled at their dormant humanity. Snake-like dread seeped into Eli's gut as a low growl echoed from the shadows. A figure emerged, cloaked in dark fabric and a shroud of menace. Zeker, a formidable figure from the intergalactic crime syndicate. Eli's instinct screamed danger. "Enough of this talk," Zeker sneered, stepping forward, the crowd parting to grant him passage. "You think you can let her go? A prize like that should be mine. I'm willing to pay for her." Panic flooded Eli's veins as the realization sank in. This standoff had attracted unwelcome attention. "You will not lay a finger on her," he shot back, his voice quaking with defiance. Zeker smirked, his dark eyes glimmering with twisted delight. "Oh, but you don't understand. Zelthians are valuable assets. I can offer a fortune to those who are wise enough to sell." Eli glanced at Era, her expression a mix of fear and determination. Zeker's presence pressed heavily in the air, wrapping threats like tendrils of smoke around their hopes. "Listen," Eli shouted, ready to confront Zeker. "You have no right to claim Era. She's not an object to be sold." The crowd's energy shifted again, and a chorus of voices began to rise. "Let her go," they shouted. "No more exploitation." Strengthened by Era's voice, their resolve to protect her swelled. Zeker's smile hardened, and he moved closer, likely confident in his power. "Then perhaps it's time to show you who rules here." As Zeker prepared to act, Eli steeled himself for the dark confrontation about to unfold. But in his heart, he was fueled by the flickering light of hope, the knowledge that they could create a future from this moment. "Eli," Era's voice pierced through the growing chaos, her eyes pleading, "we have to stand together." And in that split second, Eli understood that hope wasn't just about freedom. It was about the fight for their future, the unity of human and alien. Together, they would stand. Together, they would fight to protect their bond and the potential of a new alliance. The air thrummed with tension as Zeker's shadow loomed over Eli and Era. There was a palpable shift in the crowd. Their shouts faded into hushed whispers, a looming apprehension settling over them like a dark cloud. Eli felt time slow as Zeker's piercing gaze bore down on him, filled with dangerous intent. "Let's see how brave you are without your little alien friend," Zeker sneered, his fingers dancing over a gleaming weapon strapped to his thigh. The crowd stilled, collectively holding their breath. Eli swallowed hard, adrenaline coursing through his body. He took a small step forward, fueled by the flickering connection he felt with Era. "You don't want this fight, Zeker. All you seek is chaos." The crime lord chuckled darkly, his eyes glimmering with menace. "Chaos is what drives progress. But I can assure you, it's not peace that this girl will find." Before Eli could respond, Zeker lunged forward, but the crowd erupted in defiance, pushing against the crime syndicate leader's men. Utilizing the momentary disorder, Eli turned to Era. Fear and urgency etched across his face. "We need to get out of here. Now. Follow my lead." Era spoke through their burgeoning psychic bond, her voice echoing in his mind. With adrenaline pumping, Eli grabbed Era's hand, breaking a path through the crowd together. As they dashed toward the narrow alleyway, Eli could feel the heat of anger radiating from Zeker. The desire to possess Era clashed with the turmoil of the crowd, leading to a powerful escape. "This way." Era guided, her intuition sharp, directing them to an underground maintenance tunnel she had frequented during her visits to Earth. Eli could hear the commotion behind them, the crunch of feet against gravel, shouts echoing into the night. He pushed the fear deep within him, focusing instead on the strength Era shared with him. Together, they reached a rusty door, half buried in shadows. "It's stuck," Era urged, putting her shoulder against the door. Eli joined her, and with a grunt, they forced it open, spilling into the darkness of the tunnel beyond. Once inside, they pressed against the cold walls, both panting heavily. Dim lights flickered above, casting eerie shadows across the chilled concrete. The muffled sounds of chaos receded, but Eli knew they weren't safe yet. "Where does this lead?" he asked, glancing into Era's concerned expression. "There's a transport station at the end," she replied, breathing heavily. "If we reach it, we can contact my people." Eli nodded, determination igniting his spirit. "Then let's move." They progressed deeper into the suffocating shadows of the tunnel, a sense of urgency propelling them forward. Era took the lead, her instincts guiding them through the maze of pipes and debris. As they rounded a corner, Eli suddenly heard footsteps echoing, heavy, purposeful. Panic surged within him as he pulled Era closer, adrenaline sharpening his senses. They pressed into a dark alcove, hearts pounding in unison. "They're coming," Era whispered, her eyes wide. "We need to hide." Eli's mind raced. "Can you use your abilities to cloak us?" Era nodded, her concentration evident. She raised her hand slowly, a faint shimmer of energy enveloping them both. The world blurred around their forms, and Eli felt the whirling energy surging across his skin. A moment later, the footsteps grew louder, drawing near. Through the veil of her energy, Eli could see 3 of Zeker's henchmen pass by. They searched with crude devices, scanning for any signs of life. "They must have followed us," Era whispered as they stood, cloaked in silent resolve. "They won't stop until they have me or you." Eli tightened his grip on her hand, heart racing. "They won't take either of us." Just when Eli thought their luck had run out, a bright light illuminated the tunnel, a mirror portal leading to the surface. "Era, look." Eli felt hope swell again as Era directed the energy towards the portal, her eyes resolute. "We can reach it, but we have to go now." With the henchmen getting closer, time felt like it was slipping through their fingers. Together, they sprinted toward the portal's warm glow, Eli concentrating solely on the path ahead. "Almost there," Era called out, her strength pushing through despite her fatigue. As they reached the threshold, the portal shimmered before them, casting a soft light that felt almost like a sanctuary. But just as they were about to leap through, Zeker's voice sliced through the air behind them, dripping with malice. "Don't you dare leave without me." Eli turned sharply, full of determination. Zeker stood there, flanked by his hulking enforcers, weapons drawn and ready. The choice was clear: confront or flee. Era's energy pulsed stronger, empowering their bond. "Together," she urged, glimmering with defiance. With a sudden dive, Eli tackled Era into the portal. Feeling the force of energy engulf them, there was a blinding flash, a ripple of light, and they landed hard on the metallic surface of the Zelthian transport station, sprawling out on the smooth floor. For a fleeting moment, Eli and Era lay in stunned silence, the battle ahead looming quietly in their minds. Where are we?" Eli gasped, trying to regain his footing. "Home," Era breathed, his presence enveloped in the familiarity of her world. "And we won't let them follow us here." As their breath steadied, Eli's gaze wandered, wide-eyed as he took in the vibrant colors and alien architecture of Zelthia's transport station. This was their sanctuary, their stepping stone towards new possibilities. "Now we must reach my people," Era said, a fierce determination in her violet eyes. "They'll help us confront Zeker and his syndicate once and for all." Eli nodded, feeling the weight of the moment sink in. Their journey had only just begun, and together they'd forge a path that could change their worlds forever. Eli blinked against the kaleidoscope of colors and sounds that washed over him. The Zelthian transport station pulsated with energy, vibrant with a mixture of alien life forms, technology, and the resonance of intergalactic travel. Though Eli stood on unfamiliar ground, the otherworldly beauty of Era's home filled him with awe. "Here," Era said, her voice guiding him through the chaos. She grasped his hand firmly, leading him toward a cluster of imposing doors adorned with intricate patterns that seemed to dance under the light. As they stepped through, Eli was enveloped in a new atmosphere. Though alien, it felt strangely welcoming. The walls glimmered with bioluminescence, revealing murals depicting Zelthian lore, the bond between their kind and the stars, tales of unity woven into the fabric of their existence. "This is our council chamber," Era explained, moving with a grace that reminded Eli of a flickering flame. "They will hear our plea for peace." The room was vast, filled with Zelthians seated in a semicircle carved from gleaming stone. Each figure radiated an aura of authority, and Eli felt small under the weight of their collective gaze. In the center of the chamber sat Elindra, the High Counselor, adorned in flowing layers of silk-like fabric that shimmered like the midnight sky. "Welcome, Era," Elindra spoke, her voice smooth and commanding. "What brings you here in such haste?" "High Counselor," Era began, her voice steadying. "I come with news of a grave threat. I was captured by rogue scientists on Earth, but I was saved by Eli Carter, a human diplomat who seeks partnership and understanding." Eli stepped forward, heart racing as he addressed the council. "I don't wish to impose, but Era's message must reach all of you. Zeker has launched a campaign to capture her, driven by greed and the desire for power. We need to unite against him." Murmurs rippled through the assembly, their curiosity palpable. Suspicion lingered in the air as Zelthians scrutinized Eli, their eyes swirling with colors that reflected their emotions. "And what proof do you offer that humans can be trusted?" One council member challenged. She leaned forward, her expression skeptical. "Your kind has a history of conquest and violence." Eli stood taller. "I know our history is stained, but I stand here because I believe a partnership can offer a different path. Era, and many of us, wish to build bridges instead of walls. We've seen the consequences of division. Let us learn from them." "And what would you offer us in return?" Elindra asked, her gaze piercing through him. "Knowledge, companionship, trade," Eli replied, finding his footing despite the weight of their scrutiny. "Together, we can learn from each other, share cultures, and grow richer in understanding. Peace is not simply the absence of war. It is the presence of mutual respect." Elindra considered his words, and the room fell silent. Eli could feel Era's encouragement pulsing beside him, silently urging him forward. He knew that hesitance would only serve Zeker's ambitions. They needed an allyship forged in strength. "It's not merely about Era," It's about the future of our worlds, Eli continued, his voice rising with conviction. If we allow Zeker and his syndicate to continue unchecked, they will seek power, not just over Era, but over all of us. Together, we can end this. The council turned to one another, debating in hushed voices. Eli felt the tide shifting, but the weight of their history was palpable, the scars of distrust marking centuries of misunderstanding. Era squeezed Eli's hand. Please, trust him. Together, we can create a bond that will reverberate through time. Let us not repeat the mistakes of the past. As the council deliberated, a tension filled the room, heavier than any moment Eli had experienced. Would they be swayed? Finally, Elindra rose to her feet, her presence commanding attention once more. We shall put your words to the test, Eli Carter. Should you prove your intentions through actions rather than just words, we will consider this partnership. A sigh of relief washed over Eli, and he nodded earnestly. I will do whatever it takes to earn your trust. Then join us in a pilgrimage to the Great Grove, Elindra declared, her voice resolute. There, we will observe the sacred ceremony of unity. Only through understanding our essence can we truly bond. But we have little time. Zeker's threat echoed in Eli's mind. He won't wait for us to establish our unity. We must have faith, Elindra replied, her voice steady. The Great Grove is our connection to the stars and our past. It is the embodiment of our commitment to peace. Only by embracing our roots can we ensure our branches reach higher. The council's decision was made, and Eli felt renewed purpose within him. They had a chance to transcend their differences, but time was fleeting. Zeker's looming presence would not merely wither away. They had to prepare. As the assembly rose to transition to the pilgrimage, Era leaned closer to Eli. This is just the beginning. Together, we will show them what unity looks like. Eli couldn't help but smile, a fire igniting within him. Their futures intertwined, their hopes converging into a shared mission. What began as a rescue evolved into a journey for peace. And through the Great Grove, their bond would be tested, and their destinies would merge to forge a new alliance. The trek to the Great Grove unfolded like a tapestry of magnificence. Eli marveled at the dazzling flora and fauna of Zelthia, vibrant hues bursting to life in intricate forms. Leaves shimmered with metallic brilliance, as if kissed by stars. The air vibrated with the melodic songs of alien birds, harmonizing in a universe completely foreign yet enchanting. Era walked beside him, exuding a grace that instantly made the alien landscape feel like home. She shared fragments of her culture along the journey, guiding Eli through their rituals and history. The Zelthians believed that the Great Grove was a source of energy that connected their species to the cosmos. It is said that the roots of the ancient trees extend deep into the heart of our world, Era explained as they weaved through colossal trunks that towered like giants. And in their embrace, we find the wisdom of our ancestors. Eli absorbed every word, enchanted not only by the sights, but by the richness embedded in Era's narrative. With each revelation, his admiration for her and her people grew. He could sense the significance of the grove beyond its beauty. At last, they arrived at the Great Grove, a vast clearing adorned with trees stretching high into the sky, their bark swirling with vibrant patterns. A radiant, golden light permeated the air, bathing everything in warmth. Blue vines cascaded from towering branches, weaving through the clearing like sentient beings, whispering secrets on the wind. The council members gathered in a semicircle at the grove center, their faces lit with reverence. Era pulled Eli gently forward, revealing the sacred altar where communion took place, a circular platform embellished with crystalline petals, glowing softly beneath the sun. "This is where we come together," Era said, her eyes glistening with anticipation, "to pledge our commitment to harmony and understanding." Eli felt reverence flood through him as they stood before the altar. "What do I need to do?" he asked, anxious to prove himself worthy of joining this sacred ceremony. "We will share an oath, a covenant of peace between our peoples," Era replied, her gaze steady. "It signifies our agreement to protect one another." As the council began to chant in melodic unison, the air vibrated electric, resonating through Eli's core. Their voices carried an otherworldly cadence, summoning spirits from the stars. Eli felt a pull deep within him, an ancient recognition of purpose surging in his veins, echoing with the rhythm of Era's heart. When the chant subsided, Elindra stepped forward, her hands raised in welcome. In this sacred place, we lay our intentions bare. Eli Carter, you stand as an emissary of humanity, a bridge between worlds. Will you pledge your allegiance to peace? Eli felt all eyes upon him, the council and Era waiting, holding their breaths in anticipation. He stepped forward, determination electrifying his voice. I pledge my allegiance to understanding, respect, and peace. I vow to uphold a shared vision and protect Era and her people against those who threaten our unity. As his words lingered in the air, Eli felt a surge of light wrap around him, an energy connecting him to the grove, to Era, and the council around him. The symbiotic bond that pulsed in tandem with his heart merged them, human and Zelthian, into an alliance strengthened by intention. Then place your hand upon the crystal altar, Elindra instructed, her voice holding a commanding weight. Eli approached the altar, placing his palm against the cool crystalline surface. A radiant shimmer erupted, enveloping him in a kaleidoscope of colors. A connection sparked through the surface. He could feel the ancient wisdom of the Zelthians flowing through him, intertwining their conscious voices. They became one. Era stepped beside him, placing her hand over his on the altar. Together, she whispered, her presence a gentle warmth against his skin. Eli felt an indescribable surge of energy, the profound merging of their destinies coursing through both their veins. The grove pulsated with life, trees leaning closer, their luminescent leaves vibrating at their shared resonance. For a fleeting moment, Eli glimpsed visions, unity, laughter, and the strength that blossomed from embracing differences. As the light dimmed, Eli withdrew his hand, feeling forever changed by the experience. The council emitted a soft murmur, their expressions transformed, reflecting the meaningful bond they had just forged. Now we must prepare, Elindra declared, an edge of urgency piercing through the moment of peace. Zeker will not accept this allegiance quietly. We must gather our forces and protect what we've begun. Eli's heart raced with resolve. I'll do everything I can, he affirmed, determination burning brightly. We'll face Zeker together. Together, Era echoed, her gaze unwavering, and in that simple word, Eli felt the weight of their shared responsibility. As they began organizing plans for their combined efforts, Eli felt a profound gratitude swell within him. Through the ties forged under the great grove, they could change the course of history. But the looming threat of Zeker surged in the back of his mind, reminding him that the battle ahead was not one they could take lightly. Together, they would face whatever darkness sought to unravel their newfound alliance. The air buzzed with anticipation as the combined forces of Zelthia and the Earth rallied under the newfound alliance. Eli, Era, and the Council strategized tirelessly, crafting plans in response to Zeker's potential attack. The urgency of their mission weighed upon them, but the unity they had forged illuminated their path forward. We will meet Zeker at the outskirts of the Shattered Plains, Elindra decreed, her eyes steely with determination. He believes his strength will overwhelm us, but our resolve will fortify our spirits. Eli looked around the gathered warriors, a medley of human and Zelthian forces united in purpose. They were armed not only with weapons, but with hope, a powerful yet volatile force. He caught Era's gaze, and the confidence reflected in her purple eyes steadied his resolve. We can't let him divide us, Eli declared, raising his voice to rally the troops. Zeker relies on our fear and doubt, but our strength lies in our bond. Together, we are more resilient than he could ever imagine. Let's show him what true unity looks like. A chorus of cheers erupted, echoing with fervor as the warriors rallied behind Eli, ready to stand for what they believed in. They marched toward the Shattered Plains, where the landscape seemed desolate, a scarred testament to past conflicts. Eli felt the weight of the moment, anxiety intertwining with bravery as they approached ground that would define their future. Suddenly, the dark horizon shifted. Zeker and his forces emerged like shadows, their movements predatory and menacing. The air crackled with tension, every heartbeat amplifying the feeling of impending conflict. Eli turned to Era, Stay close to me. We can't let him get to you. I won't, I'm with you, Eli, she replied, her voice steady and assured. Prepare yourselves. Zeker's voice boomed across the plains, saturated with arrogance. So naive to think you can stand against me. You will all kneel before the power I wield. You will never dominate what we have built, Eli shouted back, fearlessly stepping forward to confront Zeker. This isn't just about one person. It's about our worlds. It's about love and understanding, and we'll never back down. Fight for what is right. Keenly aware of the stakes, Zeker's henchmen surged forward, drawn by his provocations. The battleground erupted into chaos. Swords clashed, energy beams blazed, and the very earth beneath them trembled as the two factions collided like stormy seas. Era fought valiantly beside Eli, her skills surprising even the seasoned warriors among them. She maneuvered with extraordinary agility, her energy illuminating the dark corners of the night, sweeping through the opposition in a whirlwind of light and determination. Eli felt the strength of their bond coursing through them, fueling both their defenses and their offensive. But as they fought valiantly, Zeker remained a festering threat. With every adversary they struck down, he seemed to grow more agitated. You think this bond makes you stronger? You are a fool, Eli. You will fall. Zeker bellowed, an ominous grin spreading across his face. We stand united. Eli shouted back, rallying those around him. This battle will not end tonight. It will ignite a future. As the battle raged, he felt a surge of energy radiate from Era, amplifying his strength. They fought as one, a partnership stitched in purpose and understanding. Together, they weaved through adversaries, a powerful force no one anticipated. But then Eli saw Zeker moving toward Era, a dagger gleaming wickedly in his hand. Panic surged within him, propelling him forward as he raced to intervene. Era, look out! Just as Zeker's weapon sliced through the air, Eli dove in front of Era, catching the blade against his side. Pain rippled through him, and he stumbled to the ground. No, Era cried, her support collapsing as she crouched beside him. Foolish human. Zeker laughed, a twisted triumph gleaming in his dark eyes. You're nothing but a pawn in this game, but at least you'll perish nobly, alongside your precious girl. Eli gasped, squeezing his eyes shut against the pain. But from the depths of his heart, he felt Era's strength. Radiating warmth filled the bruising cold, coursing through his veins. No, Era shouted, lifting her hand in a cascade of iridescent energy that formed a barrier around them. We will not be defeated. We choose to stand together. The light enveloped them both. An explosive rush of connection ignited between them. Eli stared up at Era, awe-infused determination glowing brightly in her eyes, and he felt renewed strength surge through his core. Together, Eli chanted, his voice strengthening as he pushed against the pain. We fight for unity, for love, for our worlds. Drawing from the joint power strumming through their bond, Eli summoned every ounce of courage he had left. With a mighty roar, he stood tall beside Era, ready to face the dark threat head-on. In a climactic clash, their power formed a radiant beam that shot out toward Zeker, cascading against his malevolent form, blinding him in an explosion of colors. The ensuing shockwave pulsed through the air, dispersing Zeker's forces. It's over, Zeker, Era declared, confidence radiating from her very being. We will not let your darkness consume us. Zeker stumbled backward, disoriented and furious. You think this is finished? I will return, he spat, bolting for safety into the shadows. With Zeker retreating, the chaos began to subside as the remnants of his forces faltered, losing their will without their leader. The coalition erupted in cheers as Eli and Era stood hand in hand, bathed in the aftermath of their victory. In the days that followed, the bond strengthened between Earth and Zelthia. The alliance that had emerged from the battle was rooted in understanding and respect, cultivating new paths toward collaboration. Eli and Era stood in front of the Great Grove, the place where their journey had begun. This is just the beginning, Era said, her smile radiant. Together, we'll show the galaxies what unity can achieve. Eli nodded, heart brimming with hope. We'll ensure the legacy of this alliance thrives. No more walls, only bridges. They embraced, feeling their connection pulsate in sync with the grove's energy. Their worlds intertwined, forging a future built on love, respect, and harmony. And thus, from the depths of struggle and strife, a new alliance was born, a testament to the powers of understanding, love, and the limitless reaches of what could happen when two worlds dared to unite.